I'd hit you with the curveball, Montel. Spirit of the Conor McGregor fight this weekend. You with some
okay, we'll mix it up. I like it though, any music is good music. I'm with.
Hey, there you go. And with that being said,
I like them. There was a video game I used to play. It was called MVP Baseball. I loved it. So MVP Baseball 05. You never played it? So. It's like, it's the best game of all time. There you go.
So, well, awesome, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the NGSC Draft Central podcast. I'm your host, as always, Joshua Zimmer, and join with me, Mr. Montel Hardy. Montel, what's going on, my friend?
It's going good, man. Good to be with you today. Great week of football ahead of us. Well, in football, or NFL football anyways, but how about you, man? How was the birthday?
Hey, the birthday was good. Just hung out here in Omaha and spent time with my cousins and some of my family. So it was good. 25 never felt so good.
Good, man. Congrats. A NGSC happy birthday to you, buddy. I'm glad you had a blast. I was happy for you. And I got to wait 6 whole months until I turn 25, so that'll be fun.
Hey, it's going to be lit when it is though.
Very true. Very true.
So, but without further ado, folks, let's jump into this bad boy. Obviously, we've been discussing the college football playoff numerous times. Basically, we started finding out the final. And the one thing that I can tell you guys is that, after we went off of it last week, we're looking at a hell of a matchup. All right. Basically, in terms of if you want to watch good football, it fell your way. And I know Montel is going to agree with me. This Final Four is set just about as good as you could ask. You got the number one team in the country in Clemson, a spread team at that, facing the number 4 team in the country and that in Oklahoma. And then, of course, for guys like me, and I'm sure Montel loves a little bit of this type of football as well, the true old school smash mouth football is I'm going to run it down your throat, and we're going to see if you can stop me. In number 2, Alabama. In number 3, Michigan State. Obviously, the winner of those will face each other in the national championship game this year. But, Montel, I want to dive into it a little bit more with you. Do you really think, you had a chance to see Clemson live this year. We've also been able to look back at the last couple of weeks. They are a team that is suspect.
Sure.
And Oklahoma knocked them off.
Yeah, Josh, I think the short answer is yeah. We talked about it, last week, and I was telling you, Oklahoma is one of those teams that, to me, if they don't win at least one of these games, I'm going to be pounding the table wishing Ohio State was in. But they actually get a good matchup here in Clemson because I think from top to bottom, their roster in the trenches is maybe the least strong out of the top 4 teams, which, still, relatively strong. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if Oklahoma could match up there inside the trenches. And just from the South Carolina Clemson game I went to go see, it's not a night and day difference between the two teams. You're gonna get about the same thing in the trenches, and to an extent, South Carolina looked stronger, just as strong, if not stronger, along the defensive and offensive interior lines, Josh. So, short answer, yes. Oklahoma can beat them, and, Clemson definitely has some holes.
Yeah, and then we obviously are going to talk about the Smash Mouth game. Now, I think everybody knows where my pick is going to be, and that's going to be in Alabama. All right, I want Alabama to beat Michigan State. Not because I'm an Iowa fan and I'm, heartbroken or anything like that, I truly believe that Alabama's just flat out the better team. I think they're more physical within the front seven. I think they have way better skill players. And when you look at the quarterback play, I would say that Coker plays a little bit better in Cook than in some of those big games. I mean, you look at Cook, and we're going to get into him a little bit more in a second. You look at Cook, he did not play great. In a game that we all knew that was going to come down to who could throw the ball better, Cook did not impress me. I mean, this is a guy who's supposed to be a top draft prospect. I'll be honest, I thought C.J. Beathard, the majority of the game on some of the throws that he made, granted he had that, topsy-turvy interception, looked a lot better than Connor Cook in the pocket and out. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Montel, real quick. Do you think that Michigan State is tough enough and more battle-tested due to playing in a more physical Big Ten to give Alabama a run for its money in this game?
Yeah, I'll take you a step further. I think Michigan State will beat Alabama. I think they're running off of fumes right now. This is a team that has a great front seven. Alabama's front seven might be among the best in the nation. We can't deny that. But the secondary is still suspect, Josh. We've seen it time and time again. They can be had with the deep ball. They can be had in some of these out routes. They can be had in man coverage. And their offense is running solely through Derrick Henry. And, Jacob Coker gives them next to nothing. O.J. Howard can get open. He's given us a lot more this year than he did last year in terms of performance, in terms of production. But I don't know how that team feels comfortable living and dying with Jacob Coker. I think you look at their offensive and defensive lines, I think they match up, especially offensive line, like, say, Bama's offensive line versus Michigan State's defensive line. That's going to be a better matchup than I think people are giving credit to. And I really think if they can just show up against the run, very few teams want to tackle Derrick Henry. But I think Michigan State, they're physical enough up front. They've got the linebackers that can make the plays. They're not afraid to strike him. The key is, can they hit him before he picks up some yards, because he's averaging about 5 or so a carry. So, I think it'll come down to Alabama having to throw the ball, and I do not think they'll do it well against Michigan State's defense. So they could be had, Josh. I'd watch out for this game. But just like you said, it's going to be a defining game for Connor Cook, because we'll have a few weeks on break. He better show up healthy, and he better be accurate.
Well, and you know me, I don't necessarily care. I just want physical, violent football. I love that 1990s smash mouth I formation football, and that's what we're going to see. But I'll ride with Alabama just to make things interesting, because I know you picked Michigan State. And I'm going to keep Clemson with my pick. And then, of course, when it comes that time, we'll pick the national champion. But, Montel, we talk enough about Michigan State. And as if Sparty couldn't get enough love, well, now it's time for us to dog them just a little bit. As to say, their fearless leader. Wait, did I use that right? Their fearless.
It's fair enough.
Their fearless quarterback. I don't know how to word this. Anyway, fifth-year senior Connor Cook basically gave the preemptive Heisman stiff arm back to Archie Griffin on top of the podium when accepting his trophy. If nobody had a chance to see this, I was talking to my father about it the other night, because I love to tell him what we're going to talk about on the show. And he was asking why we're going to waste our time talking about this. He didn't even see it. And I told him that, you coached me enough during my years to know, and I know for a fact that had you have ever seen me do it, I don't think I would have never put on another pair of cleats again, because I would have been either dead or I would have been sent to a military academy to learn some discipline. I will say this about Connor Cook, and then Montel, I'll go ahead and throw it over to you. The ramblings that we have been hearing all season long and all summer long about the fact that this kid is universally hated within the locker room is true. I've talked to guys that are very well respected within our community, Montel, most notably the guys over at Optimum Scouting, and they have said that it is a fact. They have interviewed graduate assistants, coaches. He is not universally liked by any player in that locker room. And it really stood out.
So you have that on record, Josh. Go ahead and put it out there. Say it again.
It is on that. He is universally hated. in that locker room. And everything that I saw this weekend from Connor Cook put basically the damn aptly stamp on that. How
Okay,
can
well
you,
now,
number one?
no, I just got to ask you a question here, so you still
Sure.
get to talk. Don't worry. Okay, so you said he's, I just didn't want to sound like I'm cutting you off too bad, but yeah, you said he's universally disliked or not commonly liked. Did they give any examples as to the things he would do that would rub people the wrong way?
The biggest thing that, after talking to some of them, that they told me was that he has basically that supremacy type attitude. I'm better than you and I know it type attitude. And it basically, the other one that everybody loves to use is that my poo don't stink. And he basically holds his noses up to other players. Now, you can see that from some of the things that if you go back and watch actual live broadcasted games over the years that he's been at Michigan State, particularly in this season. I would recommend everybody to go back and watch some of the broadcasted games from this year. You will see the attitude that he has on the sideline, and it is not necessarily the greatest that you would expect to see from a quarterback. And it's not a Tom Brady yelling at guys or yelling at coaches type of deal. It's the way he kind of carries himself. Now, obviously, you have to be a good lip reader to read it, but just the way he is. He sits by himself. He's not, in sync with the offense in terms of what they're doing. He literally is just by himself. But that reiterates to what I saw this weekend. The fact that he wins the award and then has to do this grand entrance to walk up the podium, basically stiff a two-time Heisman Trophy winner and an award that's named after him, and then basically, hold his nose up. Connor, I'm going to knock you down a peg here real quick, bud, if you want to take some notes. Number one, you might want to start practicing with either your coaches or your agent some questions and answers, because you're going to get hammered at the combine. They are going to rip you not only on that, but everything else that they've been hearing all year long about you. And they're going to want definitive answers. And I'll be honest, the apology that he released, I don't buy that 1 minute. You cannot use the excuse of, I was caught up celebrating, in the moment with my teammates. What teammates? You were standing by yourself next to media. And I do agree with one of the people from Draft Nation saying he shouldn't have won it anyway. Should have went to the running back. I completely agree. And Montel, we talked about this when we were setting the schedule a couple days ago. Maybe he was like that and caught in the moment because maybe he was like, it was like oh my God, I freaking won. Because like I said, he didn't play great. I mean, if I had the vote to who won the trophy, it was going to L.J. Scott. I mean, that dude was on fire. He had 127 carries or 127 yards on 31 carries, and the team rushed for 240 yards in that game. And he was the bell cow on that 22-yard drive or play drive. So he should have won the award hands down. So maybe that could have been a thing. But another thing that we talked about, it wasn't the first time that he won the award. So, there has to be some disconnect there. So all I know is I think everybody now knows that, evaluation aside, I do not like Connor Cook. I think that he is an interesting young man, to say the least. And I personally can't wait to watch him in the NFL, because if he ever tries to act like that, I got a feeling a linebacker or a veteran offensive lineman is going to put him in his place pretty darn quick. Montel, I've been rambling on this.
Sure.
Like I said, this one bothered me immensely because, again, I mean, you played sports, I played sports. We all know that there are moments where you get caught up in the game, but at the same time, if you are a great athlete, like he expects himself to be, you don't let your emotions carry away. And this is definitely a situation where it didn't look good for Connor.
No, I agree, and I'm still sifting through some of these. I'm gonna make sure people listen to this show because there's some inside information. I know these guys are gonna be,